came shyly to Bandungan, like a village girl waiting for her lover behind a grove of pine trees. Dew still hung on the tips of the leaves, and the scent of wet earth wafted softly through the breeze that crept in from the gaps in the Bandungan mountains. It was only 5:20, but the pulse of preparation could already be heard in several corners of the small, cool town. The sky was still dim. Thin clouds floated gently, moving like thin curtains being pulled back by the wind. On the main road, which would later become the main route for the flower carnival, several officials from the village office and local committee had already begun moving, rolling up security tape and checking the route. They didn't talk much, only occasionally throwing light jokes that were quickly swallowed by the chilly air. On the other side of the road, coffee shops were starting to light fires. The stoves burned with wet, slightly smoky wood, producing a distinctive aroma, a mix of firewood and freshly ground coffee. Boucherie's shop, located at the corner of the T-junction near Bandungan Market, had already half opened its rolling doors. "Carnival, huh, sir?" Mrs. Shri asked two officers in brown uniforms who stopped by to ask for coffee. Her voice was hoarse, as if she hadn't fully woken up that morning. "2 bitter coffees, ma'am, and some fried food, if you have any," said one of the officers. Mrs. Shri nodded, her hands nimbly preparing a large teapot and slicing warm fried tempeh. Inside the market, flower vendors had been arriving since 3 in the morning. The scents of roses, ylang-ylang, and jasmine mingled into a delightful aroma that couldn't be found in any perfume shop. Wooden crates filled with flowers sent from Ambarawa and Salatiga were opened one by one. Some were immediately transferred to decorated carts that would join the parade that afternoon. "Shh, be careful, don't step on the leaves," said a mother to her teenager who was helping arrange the flowers on one of the many carts. The cart was decorated with woven bamboo spheres shaped like sunflowers, with colorful paper hangings like lanterns. Everything was done with love, with a diligence that only those who truly love flowers can bring. At 6 in the morning, the sky began to change color. A thin orange glow danced behind Mount Ungaran. The morning mist still lingered on the slopes, but sunlight began to penetrate through the gaps, making the green hues more vivid. Gondrong, a middle-aged man who lived not far from Bandungan Terminal, stood in front of his house, gazing out at the street. He wore a thick jacket and rubber pants rolled up to his knees. He held a glass of hot tea in his hand, while his eyes stared as if searching for something. "My wife's already downstairs, helping with the youth organization," he muttered, as if explaining to the wind. He then sat on a long bench made from used pallets, watching the carnival route being tidied up. One by one, residents began to emerge from their homes. Small children in special school uniforms, flower costumes, hero costumes, giant butterfly costumes jogged toward the preparation field. Their laughter mingled with their small footsteps, enlivening the still chilled morning. Some parents brought thermoses and snacks. Some brought folding chairs, while others simply leaned on their motorbikes as they watched the carnival participants begin to arrive from various villages. At 7 o'clock, the aroma of yellow rice wafted from Bernardo's cart, parked near the elementary school field. The line began to grow. Among the people waiting were women from the Family Welfare Movement (PKK) from Caranglo village, carrying fresh tuberose flowers. They would perform an opening dance, bring offerings, and accompany the opening ceremony. One portion is wrapped up, Grandma. I'll take it to the committee tent, said a young woman with a committee ribbon around her arm. Yes, Duck, please be patient. It's all still warm, replied Bernardo. Nearby, the committee tent was starting to fill up. The sound system was being tested by 2 technicians from Ungaran. Microphones were being turned on, and the speakers were ringing check 1, 2, 3, and could be heard all the way to the market. The morning was getting busier. At exactly 8 o'clock, Bandungan seemed to transform into a living flower garden. Colors began to fill the streets. Red, purple, yellow, orange, and green all blended in with the movements of the carnival participants. Horse-drawn carriages were decorated with tuberose flowers. The float from Candy Village featured a large orchid statue, while youth from Jedis Village wore butterfly costumes made from recycled plastic waste. But despite the excitement that was about to begin, the morning remained calm. Some residents chose to sit on their porches, sipping coffee while waiting for the opening music to play. Some washed their motorbikes while gazing at the carnival route, and others took photos of their children dressed as flower princesses. The air was starting to warm, but not yet hot. The wind still blew in from the valley, smelling of earth and grass. The scent of flowers starting to bloom wafted faintly through the morning breeze. In homes on the outskirts of Bandungan, residents not directly involved in the event still took part in the atmosphere. Small stalls sold small flags, flower hats, and drinking water. Children from out of town who had just arrived with their parents were amazed by the meticulous preparations. Dad, is that a carnival? Asked a girl, pointing to a float that had just arrived from the direction of Sumuono. Yes, we'll watch in front of Alphamart. They say it's nice there, his father replied, carrying his son through the streets that were starting to fill with pedestrians. Flowers, in all their forms, were the center of attention that morning. It was 15 minutes to 9. Traffic officers had begun to close off vehicles